march together to a common loftier goal. Steady sunward, though the weather hide the white and treasure show. Lift up your head to the rising sun, the homeland, till the road you trod lead unto your God. March on, the homeland.
I pledge my allegiance to the flag and to the Commonwealth of the Bahamas, for which it stands, one people united in love and service.
Good afternoon, fellow classmates. Today I'm going to be telling you about World Chocolate Day. First, let's start with the types of chocolates. White chocolate has vanilla flavorings. Milk chocolate is like a sweeter brother of dark chocolate, with dark chocolate being a more natural, bitter version, whereas bittersweet chocolate is a combination of both. Lastly is cocoa powder, which is dried cacao ground into a very fine powder. Chocolate is enjoyed all over the world. Here are some countries' favorites. Thailand's is Kit Kat, the UK's is Cadbury, Turkey's is Ulker, China's is Dove, Germany's is Milka, and Saudi Arabia's is called Galaxy. There's a local chocolate industry, if you didn't know. Grey Cliff chocolates are custom-made chocolates produced here in the Bahamas. When staying at the Grey Cliff Hotel, guests learn how to make their own chocolates in the complimentary tour.
So what I would do is I would weigh them out in 30-pound batches each. I'll place them in our roaster that goes for about 40 to 45 minutes at about 325 degrees. Once they're done roasting, I'll empty them out on this bed here, where I'm sorting them to ensure that I take out any stones, any sticks, any leaves, any impurities that we don't want to get into the chocolate. It has a suction underneath, and what happens is it sucks the hot air from the actual if you want hot beans in our second process. Alright? So once the beans are cooled, you take it over to our second machine, which is what we refer to as our winnowing machine. The nibs and the shells are actually separated. And the way the machines tell that the nibs, the difference between the nib and the coconut and the shell, is that the shell, which is much lighter than the nib, it bounces. And so those three white tubes that come from the machine, they're vacuums, and so it sucks the shell. And so ultimately what we get is this here, which is cocoa nibs already grounded, already broken into and separated. There are still some shell left inside of it, which is fine. We can't get 100% of the shell out of it. Thank God for technology nowadays, because back then they had to individually crack all of them by hand. Alright? Alright, so once we're done making our chocolate, we actually store them in our tempering machine. This here is our white chocolate tempering machine. To my right is our dark chocolate tempering machine. And here is where we store our milk chocolate. At the moment we don't have a tempering machine for our milk chocolate, so which means our milk chocolate specialist, he has to physically temper the chocolate by hand, which means he is constantly whipping air into the chocolate for about 20 minutes. Alright? But with these machines, what happens is the chocolate inside the bowl is 43 degrees, which is about 115 degrees Fahrenheit, but that's a little too hot for us to work with. So in order for us to actually work with the right temperature, the chocolate has to get to a 31 degree temperature, which is about 95 to 98 degrees. At the moment, this machine is not being tempered because we're not doing any production today, but our dark chocolate is tempered. And the reason why we want to temper chocolate, if the chocolate is a little too hot, it will take about an hour to cool, believe it or not. You want to have a good shine to the chocolate, and ultimately you want to have a good snap to the chocolate as well. Alright, the sugar crystals are too spread apart, and so by cooling it, it brings it closer together, and so ultimately when we're ready to work with it, they pop right out. Alright, when we're using our chocolate, we want to work with it anywhere from 3 to 5 minutes. If it takes longer time than that to cool, then the chocolate is no longer. Alright?
Desserts that have chocolate in them. There are too many chocolate confections and desserts to name every single one, so we've chosen some familiar classics in gourmet dessert. Chocolate brownies, chocolate ice cream, chocolate cake, chocolate mousse, chocolate crepes, and chocolate eclairs.
Weird forms of chocolate. Moving on from great desserts with chocolate, here are some questionable choices that involve chocolate. Without changing the taste of the chocolate, it is often manufactured and sold in strange forms. Some of the most notable being chocolate Brussels sprouts, or even the scarily lifelike chocolate skull.
We know of the classic chocolate flavors milk, dark, and white, but globally many manufacturers have produced and tested their very own flavors to bring to the table. Japan has produced sweet potato chocolate. From the USA, peanuts and ketchup chocolate. From Central America, spicy hot chocolate.
Some of the most criminal uses of chocolate have happened with chocolate coatings. The most awful cases of chocolate coatings involve bacon, beef jerky, jalapeno peppers, sun-dried tomatoes, broccoli, and squid.
Chocolate isn't just a sweet treat, it's also an art form. If you have the right tools and patience, you can make things such as chocolate roses, flowers, masks, and even functional Lego bricks. But the people at Kizan Specialty Foods took this to a whole other level and made an 18,000-pound sculpture of the Kuklin Pyramid of Chichen Itza, currently holding the world record for the largest chocolate sculpture for almost 10 years.
Alright, so I will now be running you through how to make some stunning, beautiful, delicious chocolate. I'll be going over how to make milk chocolate and dark chocolate. Now, for the first recipe, you will need coconut oil, honey, cocoa powder, and vanilla extract. To make dark chocolate, you need to melt half a cup of coconut oil in a small pot over low heat, add 4 tablespoons of honey and half a tablespoon of vanilla extract, sift 1 cup of coconut powder gradually into the mix. Take the chocolate off the heat and continue stirring it as it thickens, and then transfer the warm chocolate onto a non-stick surface to cool. Refrigerate your chocolate for 1 hour before enjoying it. For this next recipe, you're going to need cocoa butter, cocoa powder, milk powder, and confectioner's sugar. To make milk chocolate, you need to create a makeshift double boiler using a pot of water and a mixing bowl. Melt 3/4 cup of cocoa butter in the heated mixing bowl, then sift 3/4 cup of cocoa powder into the melted cocoa butter. Shake in 1/4 cup of milk powder and 1 whole cup of confectioner's sugar. Remove the bowl from the heat and stir the chocolate until it thickens. Pour the chocolate into a non-stick surface or into a candy mold. Let your chocolate harden in the refrigerator for 1 hour before enjoying.
Lastly, we have our surveys. For the favorite chocolate type, milk chocolate achieved a landslide victory with a whopping 68%, second only to dark chocolate with a 23.3%. In the brand survey, Hershey's came out on top, followed by Cadbury, Lindt, Ferrero Rocher, Toblerone, and Twix. For our different shapes of chocolate, the most popular turned out to be chocolate bars. For variety, plain chocolate took the win, followed by chocolate with nuts. Thank you very much for listening. Have a good day.
If you can't imagine life without chocolate, you're lucky you weren't born before the 16th century. Until then, chocolate only existed in Mesoamerica, in a form quite different from what we know. As far back as 1900 BCE, the people of that region had learned to prepare the beans of the native cacao tree. The earliest records tell us the beans were ground and mixed with cornmeal and chili peppers to create a drink, not a relaxing cup of hot cocoa, but a bitter, invigorating concoction, frothing with foam. And if you thought we make a big deal about chocolate today, the Mesoamericans had us beat. They believed that cacao was a heavenly food gifted to humans by a feathered serpent god, known to the Maya as Kukulkan, and to the Aztecs as Quetzalcoatl. Aztecs used cacao beans as currency and drank chocolate at royal feasts, gave it to soldiers as a reward for success in battle, and used it in rituals. The first transatlantic chocolate encounter occurred in 1519, when Hernán Cortés visited the court of Montezuma at Tenochtitlan. As recorded by Cortés' lieutenant, the king had 50 jugs of the drink brought out and poured into golden cups. When the colonists returned with shipments of the strange new bean, missionaries' salacious accounts of native customs gave it a reputation as an aphrodisiac. At first, its bitter taste made it suitable as a medicine for ailments like upset stomachs. But sweetening it with honey, sugar, or vanilla quickly made chocolate a popular delicacy in the Spanish court. And soon, no aristocratic home was complete without dedicated chocolateware. The fashionable drink was difficult and time-consuming to produce on a large scale. That involved using plantations and imported slave labor in the Caribbean and on islands off the coast of Africa. The world of chocolate would change forever in 1828 with the introduction of the cocoa press by Conrad van Houten of Amsterdam. Van Houten's invention could separate the cocoa's natural fat, or cocoa butter. This left a powder that could be mixed into a drinkable solution or recombined with the cocoa butter to create the solid chocolate we know today. Not long after, a Swiss chocolatier named Daniel Peter added powdered milk to the mix, thus inventing milk chocolate. By the 20th century, chocolate was no longer an elite luxury, but had become a treat for the public. Meeting the massive demand required more cultivation of cocoa, which can only grow near the equator. Now, instead of African slaves being shipped to South American cocoa plantations, cocoa production itself would shift to West Africa, with Côte d'Ivoire providing 2/5 of the world's cocoa as of 2015. Yet, along with the growth of the industry, there have been horrific abuses of human rights. Many of the plantations throughout West Africa, which supply Western companies, use slave and child labor, with an estimation of more than 2 million children affected. This is a complex problem that persists despite efforts from major chocolate companies to partner with African nations to reduce child and indentured labor practices. Today, chocolate has established itself in the rituals of our modern culture. Due to its colonial association with native cultures, combined with the power of advertising, chocolate retains an aura of something sensual, decadent, and forbidden. Yet knowing more about its fascinating and often cruel history, as well as its production today, tells us where these associations originate and what they hide. So as you unwrap your next bar of chocolate, take a moment to consider that not everything about chocolate is sweet.
On behalf of the Red Cross of St. Andrew's International School, we would like to gift you these groceries to assist you with your efforts in helping the community of the less fortunate.
Oh my God, and of course I would like to say on the behalf of our Feed Ministry, we have no other choice but to say that God be the glory and thank you to you all. But if the truth be told, how do you know about us?
Well, we've seen lots of your good work and your assistance that you have given strange people who don't even come to your church. So because we are a link of the National Red Cross,
yes,
we decided that through the National Red Cross and our school, we would step in and give a hand.
Oh my Lord. And we really appreciate it. These food and these grocery will go absolutely a long, long way.
Okay, sir, our pleasure. Have a wonderful day.